do you know what I'd like to hear from? Graham's. I'd like to hear from some Grahams. Are you a Graham? Are you a Graham? How are you coping? How do you cope with being a Graham? Josh Rogers says Graham Potter wears Velcro shoes when someone asks if he's, and when someone asks if he's, when someone asks if it's because he can't tie his shoelaces, he just runs off. Hello everybody, welcome back to James and Flav for now. Lots to talk about and only an hour to do it. That was your little phrase yesterday in the mailbag, Flav, which was very
Sorry,
good.
mate. Sorry, is this the number one sports podcast in the UK, is it?
And still...
Is it still?
And still the number one podcast. Well, last time I checked, which was 2 minutes ago. I don't know.
It was all a dream.
Are we still number one?
Are we still number one?
We're checking. We're checking.
What does Jake Humphries want? Some of this heat? Is that what you're saying? What are you saying? Jake Humphries don't start his podcast eating peanuts, does he? We do. Do what the fuck we want because we're number one. You've
got to think, if you want to be in Jake, if you are listening, if you want to be a number one podcast, you've got to think outside the box. Okay.
Yeah, you're all like, oh, hi, we better get on these super impressive people to fucking talk about how bloody amazing they are for an hour.
Yeah.
We eat peanuts. Who's number one? You may have, Jake, if you're listening to this, you may have, a really slick, well-oiled machine. But we're still number one and I'm eating peanuts. What does that say about what the people want?
What's high performance for you is a good question, Jake. It is a good question, but the first time, isn't it? The first time it's a good question. Second time it's like, oh, he asked that last time, didn't he?
Yeah,
that's clever. There's a bit of structure here.
Bit gimmicky,
but it just can. I don't know. It can fatigue. Let's say that. It can fatigue. Who else do we want to pick off here?
Wait, does anyone? No one gets bored of Jaffin. No one gets bored of Jaffin. People get bored of the high performance. Bartlett's listening. Does he want some?
Yeah, Bartlett. I mean, he's not even a sports podcast, so we're fine. But Crouch.
Let's go for him anyway. They can all get it. Peter Crouch.
Crouch is in the mud. Poor Crouchy. For those of you who don't know, we are number one on the sports podcast charts. Still, nearly 1 week on. Frightening. Crouch is in the mud, and he's trying this hyperbole of new. That Peter Crouch podcast, trying to go, please, no, come see this. Yeah, they will.
Pete, I've got a question for you. What are you going to do when the stories run out? When you've told every story you've ever had from football, then what? Then what's your podcast going to be about?
Feels a bit.
Tell you what, if you need help, come to the number one podcast in the UK in sports section. Because we can help you.
First thing I said to Crouch was self-bumming. Big on that? That's about 5 weeks if you need it. Into buffets? Well, no, I'm a professional athlete. I don't go to buffets. Well, I could tell you don't go to buffets, Peter. But maybe you should. Maybe you should break it down a little bit because it's just feeling a little bit dry. The well is a little bit dry.
We're going to extend this to every single sports podcast in the UK. Anybody needs any help getting to number one. We're here.
Imagine if we took this too far and were just like, so we want to capitalise this and just help others, really. So we're going to start a course. And imagine that course. And there's Ben Foster and Peter Crouch, Jake Humphries in the first row. Sorry. Who else? Who else is struggling? Nev's struggling. You going to have a word with him next time you see him?
No, I mean...
Who's that on the overlap? It's James and Flav for now.
Yeah. If next time he asks me a question, so sorry, can you address me personally? I'm one half of the number one podcast in the UK. You, Gary, are currently 7th.
Yeah, I mean, Ian Wright.
Gary Flav, what is me? Gary Neville's overlap, 7th. James and Flav for now, number one. Anyway, it's bordering on...
Well, seventh is good. 7th is good. We used to be 7th, didn't we? And then day one of this journey.
There was a time when we were 7th and we were ecstatic.
Do you know what would really...
Now we're number one.
What would really screw them up is if this continued. I think I'd get anxious if I'm honest. I'd be like, okay, enough now. I'm waiting for the descent, but it just doesn't seem to. Theo Baker, oh dear me, 15th.
Yeah. What are they? These are
Awkward.
big time YouTube influencers.
Yeah.
And then there's just little old us at number one.
Football Daily, is that a big BBC?
Sounds like a big pocket. Was there anyone else?
Vibe with 5. They're all in the mud.
All in the mud.
Anyway, thanks a lot, guys. In terms of
quickly, I just noticed something that our lovely patrons as we're recording this, they're watching it live. Is it only a matter of time before Spotify exclusify this podcast? We are waiting for the call.
Yeah, I wouldn't
because some of them others. What?
I wouldn't be surprised if sort of talks were ongoing. With the powers that be.
I wouldn't be surprised either.
But I mean, I'm intrigued. JLA. Are you a bit annoyed that it says JLA Productions? Is that Sting?
I'll just be happy to be a part of the party.
Yeah. At the wedding when this was obviously all for Flav, and basically we do a mailbag on Patreon every single week, and that podcast is now on the number one podcast. Sports podcast in the UK. That's our podcast, the James and Flav for Now podcast. So if you want to go and listen to that.
The problem with that, James, is that people might have seen that we're top and then go, God, I've got to check this podcast out. And the next one we release is all about talking about my wedding.
About Big John Bass.
And Big John Bass and things that they will have no idea about. They're going to be listening and going, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. Someone did say that. Someone was like, this is all over the place. I was like, well, these are the best bits of the last 4 years. Back off. Not everyone got it. That's what I wanted to tweet. But I've stopped doing that now because, do you know why, Flav?
Why?
Because I can't punch up anymore. I can only punch down because we're the number one podcast in the land.
Yeah, sorry about that. We just did a lot of punching down, didn't we? Towards, Jake Humphries.
Jake Humphries.
Who can't punch down.
Right. Anyway. Yeah, thanks everyone for getting involved in that, and I get to enjoy that byproduct of your love for Flav. So result for me. Some people at the wedding said, is this more for you or for him? I was like, what? What?
What?
I said success is a team sport, all right. And if I'm there alongside him. Why not?
It's the tide that rises all boats, isn't it?
Indeed.
But I did notice that yours and Rory's video was over 100k. It seemed a bit like a podcast, got to be honest.
Did have that feel.
Yeah.
I did talk about you at the start. And I messaged you beforehand, didn't I? Felt compelled to.
Yeah, but I didn't know it was going to be better.
Oh.
Now that I know it's going to be better.
Rory's a view magnet. Isn't he?
I know. Yeah, he is.
So it's got to be done.
This Haaland thing, the Haaland thing that he said that he's going to be, and didn't he make an apology on your channel? Is that right?
He did, and he'd already done one on his own channel, and I think he's done one on the kickoff. And do you know what I was thinking with that is,
so people that don't know, or they will know, everyone will know, won't they?
Rory is.
Rory said that Haaland will be the biggest flop of the season. Then he's already.
Do you think he's trying to kind of like put this to bed now? Because I was thinking, oh, okay, well, he said sorry, so let's move on. Do you think people will let him move on? Because this could get ugly, couldn't it? If he scores 60, it's just that I think there's sort of every 3 months, or every time he hits like 20 in his first 5 games, and then whatever, it's just going to be grim, isn't it?
What are we going to do about him? Not Rory, Haaland.
Yeah, Haaland. There's nothing wrong with Rory. He's a lovely man.
Collectively, we need to do something as a people.
Yeah,
the football community needs to do something to stop Haaland.
Because
I'm not suggesting some sort of vigilante. I'm just saying the only way to stop him is if he gets injured. It's the only way. That's all we can hope for, is that he has a bad injury. And that's not something you should hope for, because you want it's a competition, right? But I can't think of any other way to stop him other than him doing a hammy. I'm not saying a broken leg, anything like that, or something his dad went
what we
through.
okay with? I mean,
Yeah, here we go.
Because we've had Jaff and cracks, haven't we, in the past? So for those of you who don't know, this was 2 seasons ago now, where Liverpool just looked a bit too strong, and so we sort of put a curse on them, and we called it Jaff and Crack. Jaff and cracks? Or what did we call it? Was it that? Something like that. I think it was Jaff and cracks. Anyway, what's this then? Jaff and snaps. We're sort of looking for some We're looking who are we looking to injure this week, Flav?
What kind of injury are we accepting of collectively? Let us know in the comments below, because I'd be interested of Haaland to stop him, just to stop him. So, like, would anybody out there go for like a cruciate? Is anyone going to go that big?
Yeah, say it with your chest if you are going to, because
if someone said I would happily see him get a cruciate injury to stop him, I wouldn't go that far. I'd say a hammy. Let's even the game a little bit.
Yeah, I think maybe sort of something like a metatarsal would be nice.
Nice, a cheeky little metatarsal.
Cheeky metatarsal would be good, because it's like we know he's going to be fine. Like, this is, it's essentially a non-contact sport now, apart from the upper body bit, which he dominates in, of course, and so he will still be the same player. Because what I don't want is Michael Owen against Man United pulls his hamstring, and everyone's like, "Hey, that's good," because he's really, really good here. But then it turns out he's like just never the same player again. Thing is, I want him to be the best he can be. I just like him to do it somewhere else.
Yeah, that's what we recorded the Last Man Standing today, and we were ranking. Yeah, we were ranking the best strikers in the league, and I won't spoil it, but you can imagine who we picked. And it's like, and we've talked about this many times. You want, and it's all right for you because QPR are not affected by Haaland. In fact, it's great for you as a man who loves football to see him, but you don't want to play against him. You don't want him to. I never wanted Messi in the Premier League. Never. Why?
No, you were consistent with that. You were.
But I don't understand why anyone would.
I think I think you're getting mixed up. It's where they go.
Anywhere, but against my team.
Right.
I've talked about this, but I will say it again. When Spurs played, when we were at Wembley and we had Barcelona in Champions League, he destroyed it. He destroyed us. And I hated it.
Do you think anyone in 2020 anyone's having that conversation anymore?
How much do you hate Messi?
No. Do you think anyone's like, I've seen this guy, Lionel Messi. He's actually, I think he's good, He was like unsure of that.
Like they discovered him.
Yeah.
On that day.
Well, because there's I was chatting to someone, won't reveal who. We were talking about football podcasts in America, right? And they were saying that certain things, some things that are can be more like, say, a historical podcast, talking about big moments. They have to be quite what's the word? I always get this wrong. I always want to say prescriptive, but it's probably not. Basically, they have to explain all the detail of it, because it's the equivalent of me and you finding out about an NFL story or whatever it might be, because we don't know all
to an audience who doesn't know.
All the bits and pieces. And so I wonder if there are American YouTube channels who are kind of going,
this guy's good.
This Haaland. I'm not going to do the accent. You get in trouble for it. Whilst we're on that, how do you feel about Todd Bowley's been in the news this week, chatting away, and I've given him a bit of a hard ride. That's a horrible image, isn't it? Thinking about like him getting rid of
the image of James just blowing the back out of Todd Bowley and then bent over a bed. Yeah. What did you say about the Premier League? Keep your fucking opinions and ideas to yourself forever. Bosh. But
he'd be into it too, wouldn't he? He'd
be
like, tell me I'm too American.
Yeah.
But he spoke about a couple of things like the All-Star game. Do you know what's really interesting is so Loz and Geordie did a Twitch stream, and they sort of put together a team of both. on the night of that coming out, and they said Allcott will be on this tomorrow. This is such a James Allcott video.
Yeah,
literally, I was not aware of that at all, and then the comments started raining down. And then I messaged Loz going, I've walked into this one, haven't I? And he's like, yeah. But he said, oh, do you know what's so weird? That me, you, and Rory have all done different videos on it. And so Loz did one about kind of, because I think Loz is a bit of he's a sort of bastion for taking, American sports, right? Like he's a big supporter of it, and so he can probably see the kind of patronizing nature of some of us sometimes, right? And I wonder if it made me think, am I a bit guilty of that? So he was kind of talking about how it would work and all that stuff. Rory was like, this needs to stop. This can't happen. And I was just like, oh, there's a little format here where we can like make teams, but you can only pick one. So I did it our own little way.
And your thumbnail was like,
yeah, big fan. At the wedding, a lot of people were asking. They were saying, well done, mate. It's so good to see you doing well. And then there was always be this like 3-second pause. I was like, oh, thank you, mate. And they go, the thumbnails though. I know.
Got to play the game.
You got to play the game, son. Got to play the bloody game.
I hate the way I do want to talk about this, but I hate the way YouTube are displaying fucking shorts. Looks just fucks the aesthetic of the channel.
Yeah, I've started chucking a few up there. See what happens. So yeah, how do you think? What sort of presented itself to me?
Yeah, which one of those do you want me to comment on? Because I can do them all.
Sorry.
No, because we can do North versus South, who would win, or we can go with Rory's thing, saying, mate, this is not your sport. You can't come over and revolutionise it, right? We're fine the way it is, enabling you as teams to make more money and sort of just dressing it up as this idea that you'll give all of that £200 million that you project to the lower leagues. You will not do that. You will keep it. And it'll be spread amongst the teams that are involved and the players that are involved. That's what will happen. There's no chance he does this thing. Do you know what would be a good idea, everybody, right?
Well, he said
we'll do this game. Yeah, he said it, but it doesn't mean it will happen. It's just, they will say a lot of things. Do you think they would do this game just to send money down the pyramid? Do you think that would ever happen?
I think that is a wonderful shout if they were willing to actually do it.
Yeah, it's a great thing. But even in the same instance, like, fucking what is these clubs' charity cases? Is that what it is?
No, you know what
this.
You don't mean that. You're not going down that road.
What you want some money you don't deserve that you've never got involved in. You have nothing to do with you. Is that what you want? You think QPR want a slice of this pie? That's what you're thinking, mate.
The pyramid, the gap needs to be dealt with. That needs to be saved.
You're just thinking, oh, lovely money. That's what you're thinking.
No, I'm thinking, let's calm down the gap. I know what you're doing. This is Stevie Wonder all over again. And it's so that side of it, I really, really like. I saw some comments, people going, the top clubs don't need more games. Fuck the top clubs. Play the fucking game.
James, we are busy. We are very busy.
Yeah, but the top clubs play enough games. Play another one. You've got a bigger budget than anyone else and a bigger squad than everyone else.
I'll tell you what, you can have, for this game, I'll give you Matt Doherty. That's the Spurs player you can have.
What do you mean? What a QPR in this All-Star game? In terms of who's available? Right, I get you.
Yeah.
I think I'm getting confused here because I was actually talking about playoffs to the Champions League, which I'm a huge fan of. And someone's going, what, more games for the top clubs? We shut up about the top clubs. No one cares about
everyone cares about it.
The entitledness of the top clubs driving me mad.
And the thing is, all we've done is, at some point, chose to support them. It's not like, this is why I can never get upset.
My guys are fatigued. Are they? Yeah. There's loads of them. Play the other ones.
But I don't think I actually can get rattled by a fan of a club of one of the big six. Like, if an Arsenal fan, I don't think an Arsenal fan can rattle me properly, because all they've done at some stage is chosen to support the team that they thought were the best. And if that's the case, I don't value your opinion.
We've got some. That's so funny you say that, because we've got a new bit, which I didn't know what to call it, so I've just called it Right. That's what I've called it, and it does revolve around fans. The thing is like I can't remember where it was, but someone was saying like they were talking about Man City are getting too far ahead, and all we've got to hope for is that someone else can kind of spend enough money to get to sort of rein them in. And I was like, no, it's the other way around. Stop letting this, like, if you've got a raft and it's made of wood, you know, imagine Castaway, one bit of wood is like drifting off. You don't like throw the other bits of wood at it. You bring it back. That's what you need to do. And that's why I think an All-Star game, if it was for that money, I think it would be great. Personally.
You quite like it. You like it.
I do. I really like it. I think it's a great idea. That's the thing. I get annoyed with people going, "Oh, more games." Calm down.
It's one game, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it was for the That was it. The champ. Someone said as well, the Champions League playoff thing. Someone said, if you finish 7th, you don't deserve the Champions League. Okay, so what if you finish 3rd? You're still not a champion, are you?
Yeah, 2nd doesn't deserve the Champions League. It's just a predefined top 4 was predefined. You're comfortable with that because that's what the authorities say is the top 4. But now 7th doesn't deserve it because you've been conditioned by Sky Sports and the Premier League. That's what's happened. That's all that is, mate.
And also, like, if you think of, say, rugby has these playoffs in place. So often the team that finishes first doesn't win the whole thing. As long as you understand the rules, it's all good. And I think it'd be a great idea. I don't want to. I want to make sure I say this because I bet that how many people watching right now that aren't patrons thought of this when we were talking about Todd Bowley. Because 3 comments back to back. There's 2 from Josh Rogers, 1 from Stoker Pops were Todd Bottomley, Todd Bumley, Todd Blowley. Anyway,
can we actually go through some of the things that some of the injuries that people feel comfortable with?
Sure, mate. Can you see it? Do you want to run through?
I will quickly run through it. I'm just trying to find. We've got broken ankle is fine. Cruciate is too far. Matthew Nolan says a double ACL. That's a lot.
Grim.
Active and Blind says you cannot hope injury on another. What?
I thought you were saying injuries, and I thought you said active and blind. What are you saying?
So he can run around, but he can't see.
I mean, he still sniff out the goals, doesn't he?
Yep. I've lost it now. What did he say? You cannot hope injury on another team player's fate means your key players will get injured. No such thing as fate. That's like believing in God. It doesn't matter. Nobody cared when I broke my arm, says Big Cheddar. Dislocated shoulder, anyone?
Anyway. Yeah, I'm okay with that. It might affect his upper body strength, which I think would be good for everyone.
Have you ever seen? Do you know what I mean? Right, when you see, have you ever seen anything? I've never seen anything quite like him.
Yeah,
he's
a bit too big, isn't he?
He's big and fast.
Yeah, and there are sometimes players who do seem bigger than others, but he just looks, and the way people bounce off him, he's a phenomenon. It's pretty scary. Actually, someone did say that in terms of what should we. This made me laugh actually. So I I've started doing my asking for the wrong title, which I was a bit nervous about this week, but I think we've got away with it. With everything that's going on. God rest her. Here we go. So I asked recording Jeff and today in need of a title. Let's see if there's hang on. Klopp's last game at Liverpool. That'd be a good title, wouldn't it? Imagine this was it. Just moved on. Snuck the victory, didn't they, in the Champions League? I was thinking, God, the cascade of videos that would be on the horizon if Liverpool hadn't won that one. But they just about got it over the line, quite literally. I watched the second half, and they were good. Do you know what I watched yesterday?
What?
Super Hoops. 2-0 win. Nah.
Oh, yeah? Is that their first win under whatever your manager's name is?
Slow down. 4 wins now. Something.
Where are you in the league?
Do you know what? I haven't even looked because I don't look after. You don't look, do you? You shouldn't be looking at the top. You don't look at the table until 10 games in.
That's,
It's a long way to go.
Currently 8th in the league.
Have you seen, whilst we're talking about Championship, have you seen Preston? Can you see Preston on the league?
Yeah, 12th.
Yeah. Is there a breakdown of their results?
In what respect?
So,
oh right, I can go through it. They have drawn 1-1. They've drawn They lost 1-0 to Birmingham. They beat Coventry 1-0, 0-0, 0-0, 2-1, 0-0, 1-0, 0-0, 2-1, 0-0. Fucking hell, that's boring. What's happened there?
So
3-1, 1-0, 2-1, and then there was a 3-0 back in July. Oh no, that was against Bamber Bridge.
So they played 9 games.
Yeah.
They've played 9 games and they've drawn 6 of them.
Oh, I see. And they don't score or concede much.
They've drawn 6 of 9.
That
crazy.
Really boring.
I mean,
so they'll be top of the draw league.
Well.
They'll be top of the draw league. They'll be flying in the draw league.
Gone into an early lead, but big time. But yeah,
who's the manager at Preston?
Ryan Lowe, who I quite like. But look, so they in 9 games they've
3
scored
goals.
Scored 3, conceded 2. Imagine watching that.
Well, look, they're mid-table. They can build on that.
Yeah, they'll be fine. They'll stay up. McSlash says Drawpians. Indeed, they are the Drawpians.
God, I hate to see that. Look, Sheffield United coming back up. Fuck off.
Allcott picked it. Allcott picked it. Start season. Come on.
I know, but you've had your go. You know what I mean? You've had your go.
Yeah.
Let someone else have a go.
Time for the Rangers. Ethan Laird tearing up the right-hand side. How many losses in a row for Spurs before Flav realises it's because he's married now? Oh, you getting married, is that the curse? I mean,
I hope not.
Yeah, it's not really a curse, is it? Will Potter get snookered at Chelsea? Very good from Thomas Martin there. What's Gary
the
Neville...
answer? What, are we going to discuss any of these? Some of these good talking points.
Go on.
What do you think?
Wait, what are you talking about?
I don't know.
I mean, how many draws till Conte goes? How many draws till Conte goes and how many draws till Potter goes? I think Potter's the more interesting one.
Potter is... I know why he went there and I understand it, but it doesn't fit in my brain.
Doesn't feel right, does it?
Doesn't feel right. And so, because of that, I can only reach these 2 conclusions. One, that he doesn't have the gravitas to manage the egos in that squad.
It's an early judgment from you, that, isn't it? I get it. I completely
understand. You imagine
Aubameyang
looking like... Aubameyang has a track record of not giving a fuck what his managers ask him to do. Can you imagine Graham Potter laying down the law to Aubameyang and him going, fair enough, Graham, let's get on with it?
It does feel substitute teacher vibes, doesn't it?
Raheem Sterling has worked under Pep Guardiola for 5 years, and before that, I can't remember his Liverpool manager. Wasn't Klopp,
Brendan Rodgers, wasn't it?
Rodgers, but more to the point, Pep Guardiola. He's going to be looking at Graham Potter and was like, all right, you've done all right at fucking Brighton. I've won the league 17 times.
Because you imagine Aubameyang's just like, gangster who just bops him when he wants because he's too busy concentrating on his star hair and his fashion. And then Graham Potter sort of like walked. I imagine Graham Potter's the kind of guy at training who sort of holds his sleeves. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, like he's cold.
Like he's cold. He sort of like walks like that. And he of course he has to say hi to everyone, and he says hi to say Aubameyang. He says, "Hi, I'm Graham Potter," and it's just not enough, is it?
He's got to go in there and he's got to knock out Aubameyang. That's what I think he needs to do. He needs to
put a marker down early. Yeah, I agree.
It's essentially the same as like a reducer. Yeah, first thing, hit him hard, hit him early.
Yeah,
he's got to go in there. And he's just got to put the nut on Aubameyang. That's the only thing that if he does that, then I'd go, he's gonna be fine at Chelsea. Yeah. But I don't think he's got it in him to walk into this changing room, look at everyone, look at Raheem Sterling. Raheem Sterling's looking at Graham Potter, and he's going, without saying it, there he is. What are you going to do about him? And Graham Potter's got it, and he's got to stick the nut on him.
Yeah.
That's the only... Otherwise, he's fucked.
It does feel like a moment. It does feel like some sort of like... high school film. Do you know what I mean? Like Graham Potter's the kind of like, if he just did his hair right, he actually probably might be quite good looking. But he's been geeky for a while now, and now he's around all the high school bullies. And there is going to be this moment where he's got to stand up for himself. Yeah. He's getting picked on, the guy.
I think he's got to preempt it. He's got to be the first to hit, throw the first punch.
Right. I really hope he's been listening to the podcast over the last year, because the power moves are going to be crucial in this. I wonder if a headbutt's a little strong early doors in what feels like a precarious, team environment where they don't know you. I think you've got to find out who are your guys, who are your guys you can kind of rely on, and who are the guys you've got to take down. You've got to take them in a very clever way. I think it's tough. It's a tough time for him.
What about, and I think it needs to happen in the canteen. It needs to happen in the canteen.
Yeah.
Or I'll tell you what he needs to do. Get a little knife and then just give him a little juke in the bum. Nothing that's going to permanently hurt him. Just a little juke in the bum. Just because it's like a power move. If you get stabbed in the bum, it's like an effeminate thing to happen to you.
Right, feels like it.
Right.
Yeah.
Potter's just going to stab him in the bum. Just as you say, I'm the daddy. Anyone
in particular you think you should go for?
Aubameyang,
yeah. And Aubameyang was sort of like shocked and hasn't said anything. And Potter, I think importantly, Potter needs to say nothing back. It needs to be like yeah.
Just quit up to have that. That's it, really.
Yeah. I thought this was funny. Do you know what I'd like to hear from? Grahams. I'd like to hear from some Grahams. Are you a Graham? Are you a Graham? How are you coping? How do you cope with being a Graham? Because I think that's tough.
Is there a Graham out there? And firstly, are you really proud of Graham Potter? Is he like he's like your king?
And can I say, sorry, this is crucial. This isn't Graham, Grame. No. This is Graham. I want ham in the name.
Strong H.
Strong H, yeah. Josh Rogers says Graham Potter wears Velcro shoes when someone asks if he's, and when someone asks if he's, when someone asks if it's because he can't tie his shoelaces, he just runs off. This is the problem he's got. He doesn't stand a chance because he's just going to be like...
He runs off.
Really heavy-footed as well.
They're really big leather shoes. They cover all the way across. And they just got like slaps as he runs away.
He's got grey worn socks underneath. Yeah. That's really good. This is what I mean, though. I think he'll get eaten alive because of this.
Do you reckon Graham Potter, when he has his dinner, he eats that directly out of the pan on the sofa?
Yeah,
And he absolutely loves Heinz macaroni cheese.
Yeah, he takes
tinned.
He likes salt and vinegar crisp, and he takes forever to get the last crisp out of the bag.
He sucks all of the salt off it, so it's just a plain crisp at the end.
Yeah, he loves fizzy sweets.
Just smashes Haribo all day.
Yeah, he's got a terrible diet, but doesn't seem to get any fat.
Super noodles. Fucking love super noodles.
All right, I think that's great. So there you go, new bit. Things Graham Potter does. Let us know. Comment down below. Big question, of course, is will Potter win the Super Bowl? That was the only thing I wanted to ask you about Tomboli is are we missing something here where, although it's in, we've just taken a piss out of Graham Potter, sure, people are taking a piss out of Bowley because he's essentially American, coming over here, taking our clubs, but actually is he just is he bringing in a manager, giving him a 5-year deal, and actually this will be a really impressive football club in a couple of years? Do you think there's any chance of that happening?
No.
Okay.
No, I think he'll be sacked within 12 months.
Do you? I mean, I would love to know what everyone thinks. How long does he get? Does he get past 18 months? It's going to be interesting.
They've given him a 5-year contract. It's not like they don't. And he deserves it. He deserves this move. It's not.
For sure.
I know we're taking the mickey out of him, but he deserves. He deserves. I think Billy Gilmore's got to be fucking fuming because there's no other reason why Billy Gilmore joins Brighton unless it's to work under Potter. And Potter probably promised him all sorts in terms of how they're going to build the team around him because there'll be loads of clubs after him.
Yeah, and the way the role McAllister has in that Brighton team, and he's been amazing. But Gilmore would be amazing in that same spot.
And there's no one at Brighton who Potter will want.
Yeah,
I
guess
Cucurella.
The problem as well, you can't. Oh, he sold him as well. He wasn't on loan, was he? They sold him.
No, yeah, they bought him permanently. And do you reckon Cucurella's working going, oh, fuck you now? Not that he rates him, but he just sort of said to Brighton, I want to go. And
yeah, it's a bit awkward. Although, yeah, it might be all right. Well, no, he goes up to him and they give each other. It's that Paul Rudd meme, isn't it? Where they sort of like, who thought we'd both be here? Not me. Gently rub each other's front bums and say, don't say anything. or they both see each other and from about 3 yards away, they both go with the jib knife or whatever you're calling it. They both got one. Yeah, no. Does it work? Works a charm. Straight in the team. I was taking corners.
Chip.
What's it called?
It's like a homemade. It's not. It's like a homemade in prison, isn't it? They sort of melt the forks down and make them into.
Hey, good to know. Good to know.
Graham Potter has made his homemade. Got his own homemade shiv.
Yeah, just popped into my head, and I was thinking it might make you laugh. When my wife quite likes prison like documentaries and dramas and stuff, and then often there's a lot of seems to be a lot of sexual tension in prisons. I mean, I haven't spent much time with them, but she'll like we were watching it and something will be going on, and she'll honestly, this happened about 6 times, like over like 4-year period. She'll go, "Please never go to prison."
Okay, you would have.
I'm not planning on it.
Yeah, but you might commit fraud or something.
Well, you got to do a Graham Potter, haven't you? You got to jib him up or whatever it is.
Jib him early. You'd be an absolute sensation in prison. You'd be so popular.
Yeah,
especially an American one.
As an open-minded man, I've always, you do wonder, and I think it would just be one where you go, "Well, let's give this a go." Let's give this a go. Let's see if I can't.
I can't beat these guys. So
yeah, exactly.
I've got to join, and let's just try and get into your headspace. Can I get into this?
Yeah. Can I still play football with you guys though? Because I know you seem to be quite hard on the stereotypes here, and people seem to be wearing makeup and stuff and crop topping their shirt. I'm just not really into that, but I know where this is heading, and I've accepted it.
Wear that.
Yeah. Right. Let me just run through this quickly, and then we'll move on. Is Haaland getting boring already? Feel like we've touched on that. Should football podcasts take a break as a sign of respect? Our podcasts worry about the pod fiction boring. Has Jaffin sold out now that it's mainstream? Time will tell.
What I'd sell out. What do you mean sell out? You mean what? Pay someone to sponsor the pod? Fine, let's do it right now.
Yeah, exactly. We're not yet. We're yet to it's a really good point. Just to be clear, we're yet to sell out because we're at top, we get there's no monetary value in that. Okay, sadly. Yeah. So become a patron. What really happened at Fleet Services wedding reception? Did I tell you about this? I drove. Yeah, true. That's on Spotify.
You would have drove past Fleet.
No, I didn't.
Oh.
Because, well, sort of, right? This is how weird this is, right? As I was driving, it entered my head, what am I going past Fleet Services? That's a picture I'd like to get.
Yeah.
And because I was like, I'm not going to be able to do this in one go, as everyone knows, I need a wee, generally. And so I was like, oh, God. Because then I saw services 19 miles away. And I then searched it. I pulled over safely and searched it on my phone, and it was it was 20 miles away, but like not on the direction I was going.
Yeah, using an M4 or M3. You have to be on the M4. No,
okay.
I think it's the M4. I can't remember.
I was anyway. I stopped off at Chiefly instead, and it was all right.
It's not a passion Fleet, is it?
No, I mean it was busy, really busy on a Friday, but I found myself nervous. Because I sort of, I get recognised a little bit more these days. And I was thinking, if someone, what if one, someone thinks I'm there for that reason, or the other side, they think this whole thing's been real, and they're going, so is your friend?
Bit of a nush.
Quick nush shout at the back. Actually, I can't say it. I'll say
no. It's
no.
It's
Something about the Queen. There was a funny thing about the Queen.
No, right. No, best.
I don't know if I can say this or not, but it did make me laugh. Apparently, Leroy, who was at the wedding, he said they stopped at the service station and Costa's flags were at half-mast.
Wow.
Okay. I think that's pretty much it. Yeah. Oh, actually, there was one thing about Heung-min Son. Why is Heung-min Son not scoring goals? Last bit of football chat, we promise. What is? Are there any nervousness about you and Spurs right now? Because you've been incredibly bullish at the start of the season.
What? Because I've said that we might win the league, and now I'm nervous that we won't.
Yeah.
No, not really. Well, look, you know this. I just say stuff all the time. I can't even remember what I've said, and I don't care if something comes back to bite me in the arse. I couldn't give a shit. Case in point, I said that Harry Kane will never be a success at Spurs. It doesn't matter. It's just an opinion,
But you've started the season well overall, right? Certainly in the Premier League. But why is he not scoring? Is one season wonder? Is he not actually that good?
We scored 20 goals a season for the last 5 years.
Is that true? Okay.
So it's there's a problem with Spurs' attack generally. Harry Kane, although he scored 5 in 6 in the league, he is having a trouble, or he's been given special attention when he's dropping deep. Whereas previously, people thought it's fine for Harry Kane to drop deep because he's not going to hurt us. But now they know he can hurt you and does consistently. So they're playing Harry Kane differently, which means his build-up play hasn't been as successful this season as it has been previously. That's impacted Heung-min Son because their chemistry and their ability to play together is, for both of them, a part of why they're so good. So that's not really been there. Son, it's easy to judge a striker on whether or not he's scoring goals. That's the best way to judge them, right? But overall, he's getting his shots away. He's had 18 shots on target. It's just that none of them have hit the net. So you could say a part of it is about luck. And then it becomes a thing that people talk about. Is he playing at the top of his form? No. Is this probably his worst patch at Spurs? Certainly in non-scoring, then yeah. By and large, it's going to be fine. He'll still bag 15, 20 goals this season in all comps.
Very quickly, thoughts on the England kit, which seems to have been leaked today.
I haven't seen it.
Can you see it now, friend? It's on Discord.
On Discord?
Yeah.
Oh, you brought it up.
I've students here.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Terrible. Nike make the worst kits, hands down, in football.
What I can't understand. It just makes me think we're going to have a bad tournament when I see the kit like that. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that things come together at times, and already it all feels a bit off in terms of England and the World Cup. And when I saw that, the first thing I thought was like, oh, we're going to go out early, aren't we? And that's the kit, because the kit before was so good.
Yeah.
And then, but what I don't understand is why would you have different collars? Not colours, collars.
Yeah, I don't
like
know.
Top.
Yeah, Nike. I don't know if it happens with England, but with fans, the clubs, they just make templates and roll them out. So, like, there was one where Barcelona's training kit was our first team kit, and our training kit would have been someone else's first team kit. And they just rotate them for each club. I understand that they sponsor a lot of teams, but surely they can get a specific design for each club.
Yeah, I totally agree.
They pay the most amount of money though, so it doesn't really matter.
Stoker Pop, great comment here. Screams round of 16 exit. It does. It screams sneak through the group, but generally didn't feel right, and then disappointingly beaten on penalties in the round of 16.
That kind of feel. Funny you say that. That's kind of what it feels like to be a Spurs fan currently. We're doing enough. We're doing enough, but something isn't quite right.
Okay, let's let's read some of these comments because we've only got 10 minutes left. Where is it? There is it. Mr. Banana Bandana. He said, I'm already on the mailing list of AK. That's alive and kicking. When I saw a promotion about this, I just had to order it immediately. What he's talking about here is this ball. I'm going to put that in the edit. So this is the ball. It's gorgeous. It's a bespoke ball and it can change lives. Already we've had some sales, which is great. And apparently we have already sold enough to give 1,200 young people from communities facing disadvantaged access to sport, which is brilliant because part of the idea of the ball is that it does create jobs for coaches and for the people making the ball, but it also they then give those balls out into the community and teach them all sorts of things. So 1,200 people. So our ball, yeah.
So our ball is going to be played with in Africa somewhere.
Oh, I don't know about that, but some of the
Imagine
balls.
That they're looking at it going, "What's going on here?"
Yeah. Was there a sandwich? Was there one sandwich on this ball? Yeah. So if you do want to do a good thing and get a cool ball, then please, there's a link in the description. I know we ask a lot from you regularly, but this will, it's there. And if you feel like doing a good thing, then please.
And getting a one of a kind ball with a sandwich on the side of it.
Exactly. And Mr. Banana Bandana, I know for a fact he's not just some employee of Alive and Kicking who's come in on the comments because he's been commenting for years. Okay, so he says it's such a wonderful company, and he wouldn't lie, would he? No. This is one nominee for the Jim Big Laugh Award this week, Cameron Power Move. As a man speaking to another man, casually slipping in some condescending names during conversation, e.g., thanks, champion, or good job, buddy. On the surface, it seems friendly. So he's saying that's a power move. On the surface, it seems friendly, so the other man can't do anything about it. But internally, he is ready to throw hands. I think that was the first thing that made me laugh. And then the second little sentence was great. If you really want to step up your condescending chat game, some of my personal favourites include Muscles.
All right, Muscles.
All right, Muscles.
Sunshine.
Tugboat. I've not heard it. Sunshine's good, yeah. Tugboat. I've not heard that one. Or Big Wheels. Not heard Big Wheels before. But yeah, are there any other condescending little names to give your mates? That's good. Yeah. I do say buddy. Oh no, I say bud. I say bud.
I say bud as well.
Yeah. I think bud's
I don't think that's condescending.
I think buddy's a bit more condescending. Yeah, Muscles. All right, Muscles.
All right, Muscles.
As a short king, I sometimes go, all right, big man. I go, I'm not a big man. I know what you're doing. So yeah, good little power move. Made me laugh. Congratulations on that.
I saw something that isn't funny. Well, it's probably the most demeaning thing you can say to a short man. When you call them a manlet.
A manlet.
Yeah.
What's that? Is that a mix of piglet and man? Probably like a chubby. If it's a chubby short man, a manlet.
I don't know where it comes from, but manlet. You're not man, you're a manlet. Don't know.
So here's that bit we were talking about earlier. A new bit called Right. I just wanted to get your thoughts on this because a couple of weeks ago we were talking about fans and the sort of fans from the South being a fan of, Liverpool or Man United, or fans and it kind of where you're coming from. If it's not from that place, it somehow like you get away with it if you're from certain areas, but other areas it's a problem. There was a couple of good comments from this. Here we go. Mark Wright. I was a Leicester fan okay. I just want to get your reaction. I'm not going to say anything. I was a Leicester fan as a 6-year-old, and my dad took me to. So I was a Leicester fan as a 6-year-old, and my dad took me to Anfield to watch Leicester versus Liverpool, and I fell in love with Liverpool. Supported them ever since, but always keep an eye on Leicester's results.
Bad parenting. Bad parenting.
Interesting take. Got to stay on top of that. Is that what you're saying?
You've just got to. You. Do you know how easily influenced your children are, especially your dad? Right, in my instance, you just do whatever you're told.
Yeah.
You didn't fall in love with Liverpool when you were 6. You're now telling yourself that you fell in love with Liverpool when you were 6.
Yeah. Do you know what's the smart thing here? Move here. What Mark writes. Not that one. Should have done is, and I will be doing this now. Is that my son will not be going to large stadiums away from home games until he's at least 14.
Your son, will be going to Loftus Road. That's where he'll be going.
Road. That's it. Loftus Road. And Loftus
It doesn't matter if he says. It doesn't matter if he says, "Yeah, but Dad, I really want to go and see Chelsea or Arsenal. I want to." You're like, "No, you're not allowed. You will never be allowed. And if you do, I'll be furious with you.
Yeah,
it will be one of the most painful things you could do to me."
But I'm saying away games. We're not going.
No,
to,
I understand. I understand. You're saying you don't want him to be.
Yeah, I'm not taking that risk. Yeah, I'm not taking that risk. No chance.
You've got to really emotionally put it on him. Like really emotionally do it to him. Like say, you will hurt me. It will hurt me if you do this. Your mum will be devastated. That kind of stuff.
Right.
That's good parenting.
Interesting. Mark, if your dad's up for chatting about this, I'd love to know how he feels.
You're not. I get why some parents go, yeah, but just let them support who they want. No! You tell them what to do. Until they're old enough to do what they want, they do as you're told.
Preach. Thomas Lindsay. Okay, yeah, I've only got a couple of... So just checking in. I'm from the south and support Liverpool. As a young kid, before I really understood what club football was... I'm just going to read that again. As a young kid, before I really understood what club football was, my favourite player was Michael Owen. I would wear my England Owen kit everywhere. So when I realised about club football, I supported the team which he played for, which was Liverpool. When he came back to the Premier League, I even considered supporting Newcastle because of how much I loved him as a footballer, which I then turned around and thought to myself, you can't change allegiances or alliances once you have a team. And I knew I'd get loads of stick for it. I just wanted to know if this is an acceptable reason to be from the south and support Liverpool. The rest of my family are Palace fans. Tom?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah? You letting that one go?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. Look, ultimately, your club chooses you. You don't support your club. So if it's someone...
Here's my confusion. Here's my confusion, mate. Surely you understand club football first, and then you find out about players. That's what I'm struggling with. Tom.
That was my experience. So what we call him? You think Tom's lying?
I don't think he's lying. Oh, maybe.
Maybe he's lying.
Might be. Are
you lying, Tom?
Am I calling
bullshit?
Are you saying? I think I'm calling it.
What happens a lot? Okay, I'll go with you that, and we'll call him a liar, right? You're a piece of shit, and you're a liar, Tom. Right? What I think's happened. What I think has happened, Tom. Right? Is again, as an adult, you need to justify. You need to find a way of justifying that you're from. And you're reframing, right? And you know what's amazing? What can do the human body, the human brain can do, is you can be convinced. You can convince yourself is something is true, even if it isn't. Like there's things I probably remember about my childhood that never happened, but my brain has just processed them in that way. It's like whenever you get an argument with your missus or your partner, whoever it might be, and you argue about something that happened 3 or 4 years ago, it's pointless. It's pointless because your brain will always remember it differently from the way it is, depending on your perspective at the time. So for that reason, I'm sorry, you are a liar.
Josh Rogers says, my first football memory was 2010 World Cup, to be fair. Although that's him responding to his own comment earlier where he said, this feels American, which I think's...
Hold on a second. How old is he?
I don't know. It's a good point. Well, actually, he's in his 30s, isn't he?
What? If his first experience with football was in 2010, right?
No. Josh isn't Thomas. Josh is one of our patrons.
But how old is Josh?
Oh, I don't know. But what I was going to say was, again, I think we've got to look upwards here and look at the family. If your family are Palace fans, why aren't they taking control of this situation?
Yeah, you shouldn't. You shouldn't.
So
You shouldn't have been
it's not your fault.
allowed.
It's not your fault, Tom.
It isn't your fault. You are a liar. It's not your fault though. And did no part of you feel like you're missing out by not being able to go football with your mates? Because the best thing about Spurs is the people you go with.
That's tough though. That sometimes
it's harder. You're missing out.
We have it very different, don't we? Like I go with my dad exclusively and don't have a lot of QPR mates or certainly that can go all the time, and you it's like the opposite. Like that social side of it's massive. Anyway, last bit. Office chat could be a new bit. Get your best bits of office chat. I think this is interesting in terms of having to talk football with people in the office. Dan said, #office chat. Football came up in my office when I was quite new. I was initially pleased for a conversation point, but then I asked who he supported. He went to Derby games when he was younger, but now supports Man City. I've started working from home since then.
No, mate. That's when did he start supporting Man City? There's no chance he shifted to Man City before their current upturn. But I see City fans walking around here. Like I mean, the closest club team to where I am.
That's absurd.
Yeah, the closest club team to where I am is Swindon Town, right? The Swindon Town and Bristol Rovers and Bristol City, right? There's no reason you should be seeing anybody in a Manchester City. It's hot. If you're a kid, you don't know any better. As an adult, that is ridiculous, man. I wouldn't spend a single minute with that bloke.
So yeah, get your office football chat. If there's a guy who's just like got terrible, like you can't really be mean to him, even though you want to, but his like football chat is crap. But he comes like flying over to you to talk about the weekend.
Tell us about it. Tell us about
that. I'll just read these out. Unwritten rules. Go on, you gotta go.
I've got a 15-minute drive to get the kids, and it's currently 10 to.
We're calling it there.
Would you mind rounding that up?
This up? That's the kind of end that a number one podcast does. Yeah. It's abrupt, high retention, smart move, Flav. Right, guys. Thanks again for making us number one. One more week. Let's see.
Come on.
Doubt it.
One more week.
Stick Crouchy and Jake Humphries in the mud.
Yeah. Do any of you like Jake Humphries? Do you? If you do, that's fine. But just keep
1 week ban.
Yeah, if you want some of this, Humphries, if you're still listening, and you can fucking have it.
Indeed. Right, guys, have a great weekend. Thanks a lot. Speak soon. Bye-bye.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Bye the ball. Thank you.